So welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today we're continuing our videos on talking about remote working, and I'm very excited to have someone from one of the most beautiful parts of Ireland. So I'm going to hand over the mic and let's have a chat about remote working, and actually I'll let you introduce yourself and tell everyone where you're from.
Perfect. So my name is Crystel Rynne. So I'm the head of product and marketing here at HRLocker. We're based in Lahinch, County Clare, so not really the usual place to have based a company. So to be honest with you, the choice of location was really based around lifestyle choice rather than a place where to actually set up a software company. But that's where we've been based for the last 13 years. So I've been in the company, like I said, for the last 13 years. Specifically, over the last 4 years, my role has changed, and I'm now head of product and marketing within the company. I suppose from day one, we have always been a remote company. We have 18 people working with us now, and we have remote workers basically all over Ireland. My day-to-day job really is to liaise with both the development team and the marketing teams, and kind of the bridge between the developers and the business side of things. Try to get them to talk the same language is the challenge, or the key, shall we say.
And I've spent many in my youth, many a summer in the Hinch, my word, I love it, down the beach with the in the cold water. The water's good, and I've actually family there as well, so no, love it. So good memories.
It's beautiful place to work. I mean, we try to get into swimming as much as possible kind of this time of year, so we're blessed where we are. And I suppose I wouldn't know how to commute to work for more than 10 minutes at this stage. so it's a great complaint to have, really.
I'm so jealous. So for anyone watching this and don't know what HRLocker is, you wouldn't mind just explaining a little bit about the company as well?
So HRLocker is a cloud-based people management and HR platform, specifically targeted at tech companies, professional services, construction, and as well as non-for-profit kind of charity companies as well. Where it came from is, over the years, we found that small and medium-sized companies weren't able to afford HR software. They still needed the tools and needed to actually automate their HR experience, but they just didn't have the money for it. They couldn't afford an actual system to adapt to their company as well. So what HRLocker does, it's affordable. It helps to quickly automate the people management process. So things like your timesheets, holiday and absences, training, employee data, performance reviews, and then now remote working. So that's a huge element at the moment for us, is that every single one of our clients have been thrown into, or customers have been thrown into, this remote working life. So we were able to kind of quickly show them how to adapt their HR processes to be able to work with their remote working teams.
So did you recognize businesses are finding a challenge with their HR before starting your business?
So the background of the management team here at HRLocker is we were a HR consultancy to begin with. So ultimately, HRLocker is software that's being built by HR professionals. So we understand the issues that companies are facing on a day-to-day basis, and that's what we wanted to build the product around. So a lot of the software that's built at the moment would be focused on compliance and focused on just tick the box exercises. But what we wanted to do was create a piece of software that would actually help people on a day-to-day basis and take compliance as a given. So the landscape of work is changing. There's a lot of different working patterns now. People are not working their traditional 9-to-5 jobs they're used to. So, your software has to be able to adjust to these different types of work patterns. And that's what we've kind of designed HRLocker around, is that it's able to adjust to that dual working, remote working, flexible working of the future.
Incredible. And obviously there's loads going on in the economy and work and family life and everything. How do you think that businesses are coping with remote working now?
I think a lot of businesses thought that remote working would not be the right fit for them, especially around the different business models that they had, and they'd never implemented it before and they just didn't know how to do it. But now, really, they just haven't had a choice. They've had to do it. It's been forced upon them. So it's a whole new way of working. So it's really been a sink or swim exercise. personally myself, I have always been one to actually go to the office myself. Have never enjoyed working from home. I love working in a remote area, but my preference has always been to go to the office. Whereas now that I've been forced into remote working, I think you just have to adapt to it. And I think that companies have been pleasantly surprised how easily it has been to transition into being a remote working company.
No, it's incredible, and we go on to dual working, and I'm going to have to be deeply embarrassed here now, because dual working is something I'd never heard of until I was on your website. So for those of us, I have an idea, of course, what it is, but just we'll get your what is dual working?
I suppose what the term dual working, we've been talking about remote working for the last few years. I mean, it's something that we've lived and breathed. You know, we've developers all over the country, and so remote working has always been something that has been, I suppose, the core of HRLocker. But a lot of the people that we work with, they're not 100% remote. They work maybe 2 days in the office and 3 days remotely, and that's where the dual working is coming from. And I do believe that once things go back to normal, if there ever will be a normal again, the new normal, let's say, the new normal, that people will want to maybe work the 2 to 3 days a week from home and have that dual working situation in place. As I said, like, I have 3 small kids at home. Like yourself, we're busy. We're busy with sports every day and swimming lessons and everything else. So being able to work from home 2 to 3 days a week has been able to kind of bring that back and be able to relax a little bit more. And I think that it would be very hard for people to go back to work 5 days a week. And I also think that companies who weren't for remote working, that they've seen that it does work if you have the right systems in place. It does work if you've adapted your company to actually embrace remote working, because you do have to embrace it for it to work, and you do have to put systems in places and structures in place and things like that. But if you do that, it does work. And I think companies see that they get a lot of productivity out of people if they allow them to have that kind of flexible work approach.
No, it's amazing, and we're a digital company as well. You know, we work with clients. Most of our businesses, we've never actually met our clients, face to face. We meet them on Zoom and phone calls. So most of them are not based in Northern Ireland. And even the mindset, we are well fit to work from home, but even my mindset was always office based and good to have the team. Yeah. And I would not have done this. Only we are forced. We've been forced.
Exactly.
And it's changed my outlook totally. I think we're going to need a crowbar to get people back into the office.
I think you have to. I'll be honest. The first week working from home for me was awful. I was trying to homeschool at the same time. I was trying to get everything done. The kids were all over the place. And so then I spoke to a colleague of mine, and she was like, look, you've just got to get the kids on board. You've got to get your home team on board for you to get through the day, basically. So now I've my office set upstairs. You can see if in one of the old children's bedrooms, I have my office set upstairs. They know when the door is closed not to come in. I try to take a break between 1 to 2, my full break, so that I can just get away from the desk and go outside with the kids and things like that. And also, what previously when I've been working from home, the biggest struggle that I would have had was that I worked all day long. I had my laptop open and I didn't close the laptop till 9 or 10 o'clock, and I just seemed like I'd worked all day long. So I think that when you're remote working, you do have to treat it like you're going to the office. You go into the office, you close the door, and then you're working. Even I'll give you a laugh. For the first day or two, I had about 20 cups of coffee. So I was just like so distracted. And then my colleague was like, you don't take that many breaks at work. I was like, I know, I just have to treat this like it is a work situation. So I definitely think it's a frame of mind, and I think people like it.
You know, you've described so many of my days there. I think I'm still in the 20 cups. So
well, my husband came back from work today and he brought me back coffee, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the reason why I married you.
Yeah. The little things when, as you say, go back to the new norm, which we'll see what it is. But no, it's incredible how things have changed, and even I'm thinking I would have open to so many things and try anything, and my whole attitude has changed to this new norm, and I can just imagine the exact same happening to every single business in every town and every city around the world. It's incredible. But what
I said to you earlier was, and we both had the same thing happen, was the first day or two we were at home and my son walked in on a virtual call and I almost jumped off the chair pushing him out of the room. But people are so understanding, because the same thing was happening to the guy that I was on the phone to. So it was.
This is it. So it's incredible. It has been, I know, gosh, we can't, talk light of anything. It's been a disaster for the economy and everyone that's been affected. It's very, very sad. But who knows? There's always going to be some silver lining. And
I think as well, I mean, we were talking earlier that, to be honest with you, it has made us really forced to slow down. I mean, I think I've so much stuff done in the back garden at this stage. I don't think I can possibly do anything else. But it definitely has made us stop and kind of reevaluate things, I think, as well. And I'll tell you a bit of a laugh as well. Then I would have to visit my parents a couple of times a week, and the first week or two was kind of a bit of a luxury, not having to go over there. And then you kind of realize that family, you take it for granted as well. So a lot of these things, I think, it's kind of brought us back down to normal, to real life.
No, there's been a lot of readjustments, and it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. But strange days indeed. And you've given us some tips already for teams that are new to remote working. So your advice really is to try and get in the frame of mind that it is an office environment.
Yeah, I think that's it. Because definitely, there's been so many tips on the internet and things like that, and they're like, get dressed for a work day and things like that. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's been some days I've been working in my, my yoga gear and stuff like that. So I'm not one of those people who get dressed for work every day, but I do think you have to treat it like a work day. Like for me, I know if I'm down in the kitchen doing it, I'm thinking about what I have to make for dinner this evening and putting on the dishwasher and things like that. So you do have to get into that frame of mind that you're actually working today and you're doing it. I think as well, the key thing for me is, but this comes from really managing a remote team, that you have to keep in contact with people. Because so what I do every single morning, so every morning we have a call with the group, with the team, just to see, so what are our plans for today? Does anybody need any help? Any areas that we can help with? So only a 10-minute call. And then I do touch base throughout the rest of the day with people, just to make sure that they need anything. And I mean, like, I'm living on Microsoft Teams at the moment. That's how we do everything at the moment. And because I think that's really important. I think as well, the other thing that's important is that that you trust your actual team that you're working with, because that I think one of the key barriers to remote working before was the lack of trust there. Like what is that person doing at home? Are they putting on the dinner and putting on the dishwasher? Whereas you do need to focus really, I suppose, on the output of what people are actually doing. So like, what's the actual value? So people are getting their job done. That's the key. But I do think keeping in contact with your team, like we do kind of silly things as well. Then we had a cocktail hour on a Thursday and things like that with the whole company, and that was good. But definitely to try to keep in actual contact with your team and treat it like a structure. Take your hour break from 1 to 2. Don't have 20 cups of coffee, because you don't need 20 breaks a day. And definitely, I found the biggest thing, and this comes from being at home with 3 kids, you've got to get your home team on board, or else it's going to be, I think I'd be pulling my hair out at this stage.
No, and again, it's very good advice. Solid. So I'll be taking some of those tips, and the cocktail hour sounds good as well. So yes. I'll float that one too. I'm worried as long as we don't have it at 10 o'clock on Friday morning,
Yeah.
That's so good. And do you find that you're really unique to find a company that's been remote working so long and living and breathing this? Do you find that your company still pivoted during this change?
No, we did. We definitely did. And it was quite funny because we've had people who've been remote working for years. And, so then all of a sudden when everybody was remote working, we put a lot of things in place. We've got to have that daily call. We've got to have weekly catch-ups. And the actual remote workers who've been working with us for years were like, you guys never did that to us before. did. So we've had to pivot somewhat. But what we've definitely had to do is really, really focus on communication. And I know that sounds like just that basic work book management book, communication, but that is the thing, because people are still trying to work, and you don't want somebody to get caught in something and not actually be able to find out how to, not have that support there. But I think the key thing that we did through all of this was I watched this YouTube video about Simon Sinek. I'm a big fan of his, and he was saying basically, if you think you're going to do the same thing that you were doing last month, you're gonna fail. You need to adapt to the environment. So we showed that kind of, I think it was a TED Talk, whatever it was. We showed it to the team. We're like, how are we going to survive this? Because basically our customers are all at home now. How are we going to help them? So we put a couple, so we had to kind of pivot our strategy in terms of, we're like, okay, so we've got, 500 customers at home who are sitting there waiting, thinking, okay, what's going to happen? So we got together as a team and really kind of brainstormed about how can we help our customers through this time. So we did lots of small things, but small wins. For like, if somebody's registering sick leave on HRLocker, they tick a box saying that it's COVID-19, so that the company's able to report out for their COVID-19 payments who's actually on sick leave. So huge win for us in terms of customers. They were really happy with that. We also then, because we do a lot of remote working ourselves, we do have remote working policies and handbooks and things like that. So we sent them out to all our customers as well and said, you're going through this. This is actually how we can help you. It's not an extra cost or package or anything like that. This is how we can do it. So we really just, I suppose, looked at, one, how can we help our customers get through this, because ultimately they're the backbone of our business. The truth of the matter. And what quick wins can we do to actually help that? So we did. So then I'm also doing fortnightly webinars as well with customers, just to say, okay, well, if you need, how do you get people's emergency contacts if you're in remote working? So that kind of really account management, focus on the customer being the key, which, to be honest with you, they should be the key to what you're doing.
Incredible. And do you think, and I know obviously your customers and the general temperature check of businesses out there, do you think businesses have found it hard if they didn't engage in any remote working? Yeah.
I do think that. I think that people have struggled with remote working. Like, I'll give you an example for myself. We didn't have to change anything in terms of, we were using Microsoft Teams anyway. Same as yourself, you were using that, you were doing video interview, you were doing that remote working. Whereas if you never did that before, it's a huge step for a company to all of a sudden have that, oh my gosh, how do we remote? I mean, I'm sure you've had this several times where you're doing that meeting and the person is like, I can't find the mute button, or can't turn the video. Like, okay, this is my fourth call today. So so I think, but I think as well is that people were forced to do it. So they had to do it. And I don't think they had an option not to do it. But I think that, look, I certainly have felt in this time, and like you were saying, it's some companies are really struggling, but I have felt that people are really supportive of each other. Any companies we've spoke to who are event-based companies and their doors are closed, and we're like, oh look, don't worry about it. We'll catch up when your doors are open again, and because nobody knows what's going to happen in the next couple of months, so we just have to support each other.
No, totally. It's crazy days is right. And but we will, of course, fingers crossed now, bounce back, and we'll be raring to go, but time will tell. But yeah, new opportunities for everyone. So let's see. And the processes that you found helpful to create or to feel creative in this new environment that we're in.
Yeah. So we're, as part of our core behaviors, where we have flexibility and niche and delivery as part of our core behaviors, and that has allowed us really to, we're a software company, so we do embrace the Scrum ethos. But what we try to do with Scrum is put that throughout our entire organization. So not just our technology team, our software development team, but also our marketing team, sales team, finance team. and to really focus on, I suppose, responding immediately to things and iterative processes and things like that. But specifically, what we marry it with is we are also just completed, well, we're in the middle of completing this program, this design thinking program with Enterprise Ireland, which has kind of, I suppose, it focuses firstly on iterative process, but also it really, really focuses on putting the person's problem at the center of everything that you're doing. So that, you know, in terms of our response to COVID-19, that's what we did as we came together as an entire company, so sales, marketing, development, business analysts, all together and said, okay, so our customers have a problem. They have a COVID-19 issue. What issues are they having? You know, we know the problem, we know this big COVID-19, but actually on a day-to-day basis, what issues are they having and how can we help them with that? So, you know, rather than looking at, okay, well, this is this big problem here, but on a small basis, you know, on a really small level, what are the things that we can help get them through the day? And what's the ultimate root cause of that problem? Is there something that we can do? And that design thinking method helps you, okay, focus really a lot on the problem and then start iteratively releasing something. Because if we were to say, okay, we're going to do this huge big COVID-19 project, it's this huge thing, and there's all these different software developments that we're going to do, we'd never get it done. So, but if we release it in stages, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and I think that's how you can quickly respond to an emergency, basically. You know, that's the key.
Incredible. And a company for like yourself and your team, you know, you've been remote working and living this life for so long. So what's next? What do you do to improve the business, or is it
next? So look, we were doing really well before this pandemic hit. Clearly, it's going to impact everybody for the next couple of months. But I really feel that the future is bright for HRLocker, but for most companies, you know, we stick together, we're going to help each other out, and know that, you know, to really coin the hashtag phrase, or steal the hashtag phrase, we're all in this together, but ultimately we are, you know, so we're going to continue to do what we do best. So we're developing products to help people's HR management. Ultimately, our goal by the end of this year is to do a market entry into the US market and dominate the world of HR software. So watch this space.
Excellent to meet you there. I love it. Dominate, take over the world. I love it. That's
the long-term goal.
No, it's the only way. I love it, and why not? That's it. We're in the same path there, but we'll see you in the US. That's it. No, so if anyone's watching this webinar and wants to find out more about yourselves, the services that you guys offer, and remote working, what's the best way for people to do that?
The best way is just to come to our website. So it's HRLocker.com, and we have a lot of free resources up there for people if they're looking for any templates in regards to remote working or handbooks or anything like that. And then it's a free trial of HRLocker as well. Or
brilliant. Yes, even better. We love free trials.
Exactly.
So thank you very much. That's brilliant. And underneath this video, we'll have links through your website as well, so anyone can click through. So again, thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah.
Excellent. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this video on remote working of use, some new tips and advice. It's interesting to see what other companies are doing around the world. Again, please do share this on your social media, your colleagues and friends. Hopefully we'll gain from it as well. And of course, visit HRLocker and check out some of their resources. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you again.